Hui Ho'olauna, The Social Group, a presentation of the College of Social Sciences at the University of Hawaii.
Aloha! Welcome to the spring 2014 edition of Hui Ho'olauna, The Social Group, a TV magazine production brought to you by the University of Hawaii's College of Social Sciences.
And students in the journalism program of the School of Communications. I'm Peter Chastagner.
And I'm Caelan Hughes. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in this edition,
A Sun's special tribute to the late Senator Daniel Inouye.
We talk story with State Supreme Court Justice Sabrina McKenna. And
witness the intimate connection between land and language on Kaho'olawe. The University of Hawaii is planning to begin construction on the Daniel K. Inouye Center, which will serve as an archive for all the late senator's work.
Inouye was a proud alum of the university and, as Avery Soto learned, a proud father.
I got a chance to talk with Ken Inouye, the late senator's son, who's working with the university to preserve his father's legacy and the memory of the man he loved.
There was so much to him that folks didn't see. I wish people could understand what a good family man he was, what a good father he was. When you consider the demands of that job, still to be a very engaged and very present husband and father. I became a father about 4 years ago, and it gives me a high bar to reach.
Ken Inouye's love for his dad is the inspiration to preserve his father's legacy. That's why he is excited about the prospect of the Daniel K. Inouye Center being built on campus. Although no date for construction has been set, Henke Hall on the Diamond Head side of campus will be the site of the center.
We're basing the center off of his legacy, but it became clear that what was really a valuable opportunity was to touch young people.
The Manoa campus seems an appropriate place for the Inouye Center, since Inouye expressed a strong connection to the university in his last interview with Hui Ho'olauna.
We have a first-class campus, and I would hope that my granddaughter, when she gets old enough, would have the good sense to come here.
After serving in World War II, Inouye graduated from the university and went to law school before beginning a political career that took him on a journey to Washington. But the senator never forgot where he came from.
Folks made it a big point to tell me, always remember, no matter where we go, no matter where we live, no matter what we're doing, Hawaii is home. It is always home.
You're having fun with Grandpa, huh?
Ken Inouye had many great stories to tell about his father. To see his full interview, visit ho'olauna.tv. For Hui Ho'olauna, I'm Avery Soto.
Over 250,000 Filipino soldiers contributed to the U.S. triumph of World War II.
But they were denied the benefits promised to them by the U.S. government. Deborah Manog has more.
70 years later, these forgotten heroes are still fighting for justice. But time is running out.
I pity my comrades who have no records, who could not get the compensation. But they fought with the Americans. We fought side by side.
During World War II, Philippine scouts and guerrillas fought beside American troops under the promise of full U.S. citizenship. But the U.S. went back on its word in 1946.
I am very disappointed in the lack of support of the congressional leaders in granting these Filipino soldiers what is due them.
President Obama offered a one-time lump sum payment in 2009 as compensation for their sufferings, but many claims have been denied.
There were no medical records at that time. If you have no records in the hospital, no records in doctors, your claim will be denied. That's very discriminating.
Their hope rides on two bills that would grant full benefits to Filipino veterans and reunite them with their families in the U.S.
It's just a small number of the veterans who actually should be getting their benefits, right? And then the lump sum payments also didn't account for widows or dependents And so in that sense, the struggle, this is why the struggle continues.
The path has never been easy for these dwindling veterans, but they continue to fight for justice.
To learn more about the status of these bills and justice for Filipino veterans, visit our website. For Hui Ho'olauna, I'm Deborah Manog.
Honolulu is ranked second in the United States for having the worst traffic, and a stretch of highway in the North Shore is one of the biggest problem spots.
According to locals, the cars are moving like turtles because of the turtles. Jordan Reynolds has more.
Manog C Beach is one of the major sources of traffic on the touristy stretch of the Kamehameha Highway, running from Haleiwa to Sunset Beach. And over the years, it has just gotten worse. It's no surprise that Manog C is such a congested strip of the Kam Highway. It's a popular surf spot, a beautiful beach, and of course there's the Turtle Sanctuary. But it's not built to handle the amount of car and foot traffic that it attracts.
It's pretty bad as far as getting back and forth to the beach, because it's kind of dangerous with the cars, and I felt bad for the tourists too, because it's just a situation where there's an accident waiting to happen, I think.
Since 2005, a citizen task force has been proposing alternate solutions and pushing the state and Department of Transportation to address the issue. But there have been funding and design dilemmas, and only temporary measures have been taken. Barriers on the Mauka side of the highway have been put up with the intentions of speeding up traffic.
But this solution seems to divert the problem rather than solve it.
It's really absurd, and the government just messed up. Because there's still traffic out here. People still have to cross the street, and to me, it's still not getting down to the root of the problem, which they should actually reroute the highway and back in the parking lot up front, and they could avoid all this.
After waiting for change for nearly a decade, many activists for the Kamehameha Realignment Project feel they are still no closer to a solution.
There needs to be a coordinated flow through with cars being able to turn off the road and park on the Makai side.
For more information, visit their website. For Hui Ho'olauna, I'm Jordan Reynolds.
Coming up next on Hui Ho'olauna,
a medical mission brings hope to the Philippines.
And we learn what happened to the smoking ban on campus.
Are you swimming in a sea of indecision?
Searching for a new direction?
Then head on over to the University of Hawaii's College of Social Sciences.
You'll find everything there, from anthropology to journalism to women's studies and more.
So dive on in to the College of Social Sciences.
Find your future! Welcome back to Hui Ho'olauna. In the fall of 2013, UH Manoa proposed to enact a tobacco ban on campus, set to begin this year.
However, the ban went up in smoke when the staff unions weren't consulted. I followed up with some UH staff to find out what happened. In December, Hui Ho'olauna reported on a proposal for UH Manoa that would outlaw the use of any tobacco products as well as electronic cigarettes across the entire campus. However, just as the proposal was about to pass, the Faculty Senate moved to strike it down.
As far as we knew, no faculty organization had been involved in its development.
Despite the error, the smoking ban has not been completely derailed. Since December, the Senate has surveyed faculty members, and they've given their consent to a revised smoking ban. The proposal is currently in the President's office waiting for approval. In the meantime, the campus is under the jurisdiction of the current state law, and smoking is allowed in designated areas and 25 feet from building entrances.
But the good thing about all of this, despite all the consternation and the delays, is that the word is getting out that regardless of when it happens, either tomorrow or a year from now, the campus will be making a move towards going tobacco-free.
Assistant Vice Chancellor Lori Ideta is confident that UH Manoa will be smoke-free in the near future.
Thanks, Caelan. That's great news for the health of our students here on campus. But now, Bobby Bergonio investigates health systems abroad.
In the United States, we have Obamacare. It's something that we can often take for granted. For residents in the Philippines, however, healthcare insurance is virtually non-existent.
Located in the heart of the city, Tuguegarao People's General Hospital is a place people don't often visit.
It's really sad. Have to do with poverty here.
they just suffer. Only those who can afford to can provide that or get that insurance.
An insurance that is vital, but painfully expensive.
Most of the health care here, you have to pay for everything yourself, which in the United States is completely different. People that don't have money can get health care covered by the hospital. But here, they only have a small amount of public funds, so it's hard.
People who are uninsured are considered indigent and end up in this part of the hospital. Here in the charity ward, the lights are dim, there's no AC, and the walls are chipped. So when the Aloha Medical mission arrived, it was simply a godsend.
Some of the more touching things have been just real extreme gratitude for being able to provide this kind of various operations for no cost to them.
Hello, you're fine. You're such a good patient.
So there have been patients who feel like it's given them a new lease on life, and that they've been able to just have like a whole new world kind of opened up for them.
A new world full of hope and endless possibilities. If you'd like to support the Aloha Medical Mission, visit their website. For Hui Ho'olauna, I'm Bobby Bergonio.
Thanks, Bobby. Healthcare isn't the only overlooked privilege for Americans. We often take a warm bed and a roof over our head for granted.
Homelessness is a prevalent problem here in Hawaii, but thanks to conscious efforts of community leaders, those in need are turning their lives around.
It's common to judge the homeless, but sometimes those who have the least are victims of circumstance, and they're working harder than ever to get back on their feet.
Over a quarter of the homeless population resorting to the use of shelter services have either a full or part-time job. It is the general assumption most of the homeless are adults. However, this is not the case. Over a third of the homeless population using shelter services like Next Steps are either 18 years old or younger.
We have about 25 families living in here. On any given night, we have about 200 people sleeping at Next Step.
Not only does Next Step provide refuge for guests who have fallen on hard times, it is also a place of hands-on learning for students here at UH.
I was taking an ethnic studies course, and we had the choice of writing an essay or doing a service learning project, and I just thought it would be more fulfilling to actually get out in the community and help people.
Some former student volunteers have come full circle and found a career working to help those in need of one.
I was volunteering here during my undergrad at the University of Hawaii. There's still a lot of value in working at nonprofits and especially a homeless shelter, helping and assisting individuals and families who are on the street living in homeless shelters is something that you can't put a price on. No other job is as rewarding as that.
To find out how you can get involved and change a life, visit their website. For Hui Ho'olauna, I'm Derek Kravitsky.
Thanks, Derek. Coming up next on Hui Ho'olauna,
we'll take you on a special journey to the island of Kaho'olawe.
And we talked story with Supreme Court Justice Sabrina McKenna.
The biggest impact of Title IX was in education.
Right after this.
Title IX is paving the way for new sports in women's athletics.
Madeline Sapigo has more.
Title IX is a federal law that bans the sexual discrimination for any federally funded education program or activity. Without Title IX in effect, women's sports would not be where they are today.
The University of Hawaii's sand volleyball team practices in rain or shine. Sand is one of 7 women-only collegiate sports. UH sand volleyball player Carly Riggs loves the opportunity to play.
I feel very grateful to be a part of something that's just for women. I think it speaks to women's sports in general. It empowers us to be able to be a part of something that's just for us. I think we're making a name for the sport in college and out of college, so it's awesome. It's a good feeling. Title IX has given me a lot of opportunities as a woman athlete. I've been given the opportunity to play sand volleyball here in Hawaii. I think a lot of women have been very grateful for Title IX, and I believe that it will keep on getting better and better as the years go on.
Sand volleyball is the fastest growing sport in the NCAA. In just 2 years of being sanctioned, it's grown from 14 to 44 teams. Head coach Scott Wong sees how sand volleyball is an awesome sport for women.
Showcases power, athleticism, but finesse at the same time. And I think for our female athletes to go out there and to be able to compete at a high level is awesome. Nobody really knows what the cap is. The teams that have added, but yet there's so many more teams that are talking about it.
1, 2, 3, Sand!
With colleges adding sand programs to their athletics, the future of collegiate sand volleyball is endless. For Hui Ho'olauna, I'm Maddie Sapigo.
Thanks, Maddie. Kim Clark recently sat down with Hawaii Supreme Court Justice Sabrina McKenna, who benefited from Title IX.
McKenna was on the first women's basketball team here at UH, and Title IX was influential in her beginnings as a student and a star athlete. Welcome, Justice McKenna. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you've been on the Hawaii Supreme Court for about 3 years now. What
Yes.
has your experience been so far?
It's just been wonderful. It is just the most awesome experience. I'm so honored to be able to be in this position.
And I know you grew up in Japan, so how did you make that transition to Hawaii?
It was culture shock for me, even though I grew up in a U.S. military environment. And of course, to be away from home for the first time. And I actually graduated from high school early. I was 16 when I started college.
And did you know when you were a child that you wanted to pursue a career in law?
While I was a basketball player, one of the Wahine volleyball players went to law school. And I thought, wow, athletes can go to law school.
How different was athletics back then?
Everybody needs to remember Patsy Takemoto Mink, Congresswoman Mink, who got Title IX passed through Congress. And in '72, when Title IX passed, there were no women's collegiate teams. And then so '74 was the first Wahine basketball team. So when I walked on and I made the team, they had these scholarships. And I'll never forget Patsy Dung giving me one.
How did you decide to stay here in Hawaii and attend the law school here when there are so many other maybe mainland colleges you could have gone to?
I did get accepted to some really good law schools in the mainland, but UH was always my first choice because I knew that I wanted to stay here and practice law.
And what was it like transitioning from the circuit court to the Supreme Court?
The transition is different. As a trial judge, you preside over trials, settlement conferences. Every day is, especially family court. The calendars are very, very busy and a lot of people contact. At the Supreme Court, it's much less in terms of people contact. It's really focused on the scholarship side of the law, legal research, writing. Of course, we have oral arguments. And as Supreme Court justices, we also assist the Chief Justice in administrative duties.
And it was widely reported when you were first nominated that you were the first openly gay justice on the Hawaii Supreme Court. What did that mean to you?
Well, it was important to me, especially because of my experience in family court. I was really surprised to learn some horrible statistics that, LGBT youth are 4 times likely to attempt suicide. And so when I realized that these youth were much more likely to attempt suicide, I decided as an Asia Pacific American it was important for me to come out and say that, hey, And not just for the youth, but also for the parents, for the community to realize that this might be an aspect of our lives, but we are productive members of the society, and we are just like you.
What wisdom would you give to maybe students who are about to graduate or just UH students in general?
Well, enjoy your college experience and enjoy these times. Don't be afraid to stand up for what you think is right. Don't be afraid to go against the grain. But also, know that the University of Hawaii is an extremely special institution. Be proud. I am extremely proud to be a University of Hawaii graduate. And I encourage the local kids to seriously consider the University of Hawaii because this is an excellent institution.
That's such great advice. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
To view an extended version of the interview, visit ho'olauna.tv. For Hui Ho'olauna, I'm Kim Clark.
When we come back, how getting involved in college can take you to far-off places.
After more than 50 years of being used as a bombing range by the U.S. military, Kaho'olawe was returned to the state of Hawaii in 1994.
Since then, there have been ongoing efforts to restore and revive Kaho'olawe through preserving the land and perpetuating Hawaiian language and culture. Lemaile Barrett reports to us in Hawaiian.
Pili loa ka aina I ka olelo. Awa ike ia no ko oia I o keia I ke la ho'omaha kupula waku nei I ka hui pū a hana pū ana o ko manoa a me ko hilo homana olelo Hawaii ma ka ho'olawe. I ka mahina o Malaki, hua ana homana me na kumukula nui ma ke ano he kōkua me ka protect ka ho'olawe ohana ma haki wawa ka ho'olawe.
Ka piki o kona pahu hopu o ia hoi ke aloha aina. O ia mea he aloha aina he mea laula kona manao. So anei o ka hele ana mai he aloha aina o ia I nui na kanaka hele mai a ka loa na papahana ke kahi.
O ke kahi papahana I ki manawa, oia no ke kūkulu ana I ala loa a puni o ka ho'olawe.
Mamake ia mākou e hele I ke kahi mau wahi, a me ke kahi mau ili, hawi ke ho'okupu no ka makaiki. Kipa aku I kala mau kupuna a ma oa.
Aia ke kahi ka ina hana no ke kūkulu ana I ke ala loa. O ka oki ana I nā kumukiawe, ke kūkulu ana I ka pāpo haku, a me ka ho'onani nani ana I ke ala hele ma o ka huki ana I ka mau'u, a me ka pūlumi ana I ka lepo.
Ua mai ka I na hana a pau, like me ka olelo no eo ahe hana nui ka alu ia. Ua nui na hana lima e lau lima ma keia ano hua ka I.
E like me ka holomua ana o keia ala hele, ke holopono pūne ka olelo Hawaii.
He mai ka iwale no ka hiki a kākou ke puka I waho o ka lumi papa a a'o ma kia kula he lohe. I ke ia nā poa ia pili kūpono e ho'ohana ia I ka hua'olelo o pai pai ke kāmoe. Ua ike maka pehea e ho'ohana I ke ia mau mea.
O ka olelo Hawaii he olelo wale ia. Aoli e he mea e a'o ai, mane he mea ia e ho'ohana ia ai.
Ama o ka ho'ohana ana, o la hou ka mana o ka aina.
Mai ka I ke mālama ana I ka olelo ma kuahine. I hiki nā kupuna ke lohe a kākou. Lohe I ka kākou mau olelo o ke ia maula. Ma o ke la mana, ho'omana hou ia nā kupuna ma ke ia aina.
Ina makemake oea a ma ke ano he kōkua mālama aina paha ma ka ho'olawe, e ma ke kahua pone vele o ka protect ka ho'olawe o hana malalo nei. No ka Hui Ho'olauna o wauno o Lemaile Barrett.
Back at the University of Hawaii, the College of Social Sciences is dedicated to giving students the global experience.
University of Hawaii students have a unique opportunity to experience a different culture while earning college credit abroad. For Erica Cabell, the wonder of Copenhagen will stay with her forever. Erica spent the fall semester of 2013 studying abroad in Denmark.
It changed everything. You know, you always hear that there's more stuff out there or people live their lives differently, but because you're so distant from it, you can't really understand it. But going to other cultures, you just see what we could be doing better and you see, you know, what's good about us. You meet different people from all over the world and you just learn so much.
Erica took advantage of UH Manoa's Study Abroad program, which allows students to study a wide range of subjects while living in a foreign country.
It's just a great opportunity that I think in this increasingly globalized world, I think more students need to have an international experience.
Living in a foreign country can be influential in itself, but Erica found that the people you meet while abroad can make just as great of an impact.
People who study abroad or people that join those kinds of programs are doing it because they want to gain something. So I love meeting new people because, people are really putting themselves into what they're doing.
Study abroad always seems to generate a lot of interest, as illustrated by the Study Abroad Fair that was held in January. Here, study abroad advisors and alumni gave prospective students some words of encouragement.
I'm really glad I did it because I learned so much about myself, and now I know that I can become this independent person. It really changed my life.
For more information about these programs, visit their website. For Hui Ho'olauna, I'm Taylor Morris.
Well, that wraps up this edition of Hui Ho'olauna, which happens to be the last show produced by the class of 2014.
For all of our stories and more, visit our website at ho'olauna.tv. So, from the UH Manoa College of Social Sciences
and the School of Communications, we thank you for joining us. Until next time, take care and aloha!